conspiracy theorist, lunatic. Just feet away here in this particular studio. I believe you were potentially called a murderer for not getting vaccinated a few years ago. Now we sit here, December 5th, 2023. How do you feel about how it all took place, and how is the body? Are you the most healthy you've ever been?
Yeah, I feel great. The body feels great. I will say, I saw Stephen A. in there, and he's been taking care of himself too. So shout out to Stephen A. Man.
Jacked right now.
He's been getting jocked. And something to that whole eating right, taking care of yourself, exercising, cold tub, sauna. Stephen A. should maybe talk about that a little bit more. But as I sit here today, I feel like I'm definitely on the right side of history, and went through a lot of shit for an opinion that was my own, personal belief based on what was best for my body. And in an era of censorship and quelling free speech, I'm glad that I took the stand that I did, and welcoming more and more people to the side of freedom and free speech. This is great. I can just directly go to my. I actually like this more. I can just go right to my one shot.
I was about to say we just did real journalism there,
yeah,
and we even got
They're loving this, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Nice. What else do you want to talk about here?
This staircase right here.
Who else can we piss off here?
Two gays. All right. How about this one? Zach Wilson. In your relationship with him, very close, seemingly. Is that accurate?
I love Zach. Yeah.
Did you talk to him about him saying, "I don't want to play football here"?
I will say this. When you have sources, right? And that's always an interesting, thing. And first of all, to have that you can go down a whole rabbit hole with actual sources, made up sources. Why is someone willing to be a source? What are they gaining out of that? On and on and on. But when you use sources, and whether intentional or unintentional, try to assassinate someone's character like that report does for Zach, I have a real hard time with that.
Okay,
really do.
So you're saying that was an effort to maybe make Zach look like a worse human than potential people already view him.
I think that was, how can he not read it any other way? I mean, you're basically saying that this kid is quitting on the team and doesn't want to play and has given the middle finger to the organization. Now listen, I don't want to speak for him because he's going to get a chance this week to speak, and I'm going to let him speak. I'll tell you that I love the kid, and I've spent a lot of time with him, and I think he's an amazing young man, and he is young. He's in his early 20s, and I've had a blast spending time with him. He's gone through a lot of shit in the last 3 years, and he's got every right to be frustrated and disappointed about it. I think he's done a good job of standing up and taking accountability this year. When it's been his part to do it, and I think that if that's journalism now, if you're going to use sources, and whoever that, I want to say the F word now.
You can't. We're doing journalism.
But whoever
can't, right?
Fool.
That's one of the rules. What's one of the rules?
Whoever that person is, that thinks it's okay, number one, to talk to anybody like that. I don't understand what you get out of that. Number one, but number two. What is your impetus? What is your motivation to try and bury someone like that? And that's a problem with the organization. We need to get to the bottom of whatever this is coming from and put a stop to it privately, because there's no place in a winning culture where, and this is not the only time, there's been a bunch of other leaks.
Big city, a lot of reporters.
I get it.
A lot of friends.
I get it. They're not your friends.
No, yeah.
They're not your friends.
Yeah, friends.
They're not your friends. Even if they are, is that really what you want to be about? You want to be about using someone in the media to leak stuff to, in order for what? To get them to put your name out there for a job, or if you're a player, to get you a write-up, something. I think it's chicken shit at its core, and I think it has no place in a winning organization to be a source on, especially not if you're going to assassinate somebody's character, and especially not when it's someone that I really love and care about, like Zach Wilson. So.
Obviously, it's not the only time this has ever happened in the history of sports and teams. Obviously, we've seen this happen before, which is why you're not only just speaking for this situation. We've seen it in the past. You got to nip it in the butt. Got to get that person out of your building, especially if they're trying to tear you down from within. Now, let's talk about that building. the New York Jets organization. We chatted about it with Jeff Saturday earlier, and now Jeff.
Well, let me say this first.
Go ahead.
Just listen. I have had relationships with obviously a number of different media people over the years. You get to know them. They're in the locker room. There was beat writers. You put your name on something, then you stand behind it. You know, like I believe, and this, and yes, it's okay.
You're immunized.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. But
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, put your name behind it.
We agree.
I have no problem with you. I honestly don't have a problem with anybody having a relationship with Diana Rossini or
Shefty.
Yeah, any of those people.
Rappaport.
Wide.
But when
Pelissero.
Wide.
Schultz Report.
Wide.
Ari Mirov.
Wide. Well.
Lombardo.
Wide.
Lombardo, definitely.
Yeah.
He hears some stuff.
But just put your name behind it.
So
that'd make things a lot better. Actually, and then we'd have a conversation within the organization.
In the real world, okay, like the real news that do these actual interviews like this on a regular basis, we understand where anonymous sources might save somebody's life. Okay, so we're not talking about all media.
I'm not talking about that at all. Whistleblowers love it.
Boom, gotta do what you gotta do. Gotta do what you gotta do. That's the real world. You're potentially dying.
Anytime there's major corruption going on, if there's major corruption, we need the whistleblowers to have the protection to be able to speak up without getting harassed, fired, killed.
Yep, something came out today.
Yeah, heard a lot of that. But like, we're not saying all anonymous sources are bad, but in sports, there's no death potential. So it's like, I think that is kind of the guys they stand behind is like, you got to protect anonymous sources. It's like from saying Zach trying to kill Zach. Why? You think Zach Wilson's family's going to kill him? Who's going to do that? We're talking sports specific. This isn't an all anonymous sources need to stop type conversation.
No. Yeah.
Let's talk
Very
about
good point, by the way.
Yeah, let's talk about the building in the Jets, building of the Jets. It was
the actual structural building, or
it's a long one. We saw it in Hard Knocks. You got to walk a long way.
Yeah.
Art Deco.
Yeah, Gothic.
Yeah. 18th century.
Yeah, gorgeous.
The Johnson & Johnson's built a good building.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with good money too.
They do build a good building. So aside from the building being built great, which we all agree, heard the boys break it down, the Jets team itself. Okay, we're watching how it's going this year. There's obviously a lot of questions about the offensive line, the protection, Hackett's play calling, the entire situation. From watching where you are, you think, hey, next year, this year, whenever you're back, you speak. You were doing journalism, so you give whatever you want to say. Whenever you play again, we have a chance to still do everything we dreamed of in the offseason whenever we were running into this miraculous year that it was supposed to be for the Jets?
I think so, yeah. I think it's about the culture, The culture can win championships. Chemistry wins championships. So we obviously need to fine-tune a couple things, just tighten a few things up.